Hello everybody. And I made this video. It's set out with the camera, shooting some footage of the outside ponds, and figured I'd just do a voiceover in this video. So we're just looking at my outside guppy and shrimp ponds. It's just an update of what's been going on. I've been working lots and lots of overtime way far away out of town, so I haven't done anything other than feed them and make sure there's water in it. Pretty much what I've done all the tanks while I'm gone. My wife feeds them, so that's the lack of videos and stuff. But starting next week with the holiday, life goes back to normal, so hopefully I can get back into a more normal routine and day job doesn't take up my whole life like it has been these last few months. Well, last month or so, I should say. Then we can get back on track, taking care of the tanks like we should, and getting back on making good videos. I haven't made a good video in a while. I'm not sure I'd call this a good one, but just an update to let you guys know I'm still alive and that things are still going good. As you can see, algae is taking over, but really the pretty part of these ponds is going to be the water lilies, and as long as it's a healthy ecosystem, which I believe is establishing itself now. Look at that big ram's horn snail. And we have a problem here. It finally started getting in the 80s, upper 80s, and I started seeing a bunch of fry here in the panda pond. But then now, tomorrow the high is 60 and the low is going to be in the low 40s the next couple nights. So actually the heaters have been running again. So that's a bummer. But when it started getting really warm, like the pond temps were like over 85 when it was really warm out, and I started seeing a bunch of fry dropping, and now it's getting cold, and so we'll probably start not having as many fry. I think it says 73.6, I think is what it said, and that heater was currently running. I think this pond was like 74 or something. This heater was running earlier this morning, and it probably got it up to 75 and kicked itself off. Here you see the red mosaics. I think I have a problem. I put in all my young fish that I've been collecting from my breeder group of these guys I selected, just to have a whole bunch of fry and young adults to start putting in my pond. And I knew the majority were males, I thought, but they're still really young, and they've gone outside and they're growing fast and coloring up. They all look super good, but I think they're all males. Every once in a while I might see a female looking one dart across the gloom in that water, but even though it's not pretty to look at, it's a good healthy ecosystem that is doing its job very well. It's hard to get pictures of them in this, but as you'll be able to see, I hover real slow over here in a little bit over the panda pond, and you can see just little tiny fry darting in and out of the clumps of hair algae. So they're doing good, and the ponds are doing exactly what they should do. This one the water's more clear, but there's more hair algae. Seems like when you get too much sun on these outside ponds, for me and my water chemistry, I'm either getting overrun with hair algae or I'm getting green water. I battled it forever. What I ended up doing when I had a bigger one of my outside in-ground pond, not inside but in-ground pond, that I still haven't got going correctly or at all, really. But that pond it was either, what I ended up doing is running a UV clarifier to fight off the green water. Then of course the hair algae would take over, and then I would use potassium permanganate, or yeah, I think I'm permanganate. I can't say it right now, but that one, it's a really strong oxidizer, which is the same as hydrogen peroxide. And I just had goldfish out there, and they're tough and you take it. But now with shrimp and all that, I'm more of the natural ecosystem thing. In fact, I had some of the helicopters, the maple tree seeds, blowing some of these ponds the other day. I went to pull it out, and it was covered in dozens and dozens of snails. There's a big old strip of like whole clump of helicopters. I went to pull it out, and it was just covered in snails. So if the snails are getting it and liking it, chances are, because you know, people, I'm not one of the big, it's not something I do in my shrimp tanks, but lots of people like to throw leaves in their shrimp tanks, and the shrimp love eating it. Well, I get all kinds of leaves blowing in here, and apparently they like maple tree helicopters. At least the snails do anyway. Speaking of shrimp, we got some shots of the shrimp over here. They're doing good. Of course, it's all overtaking the moss I had in there. And here's where I started trying to get. If you look real close in there, you'll see little baby panda fry swimming in and out of the moss. Or not the moss. Well, there's moss down there, but it's caked in algae. Hair algae. But everything's going good. Like I said, life is going back to normal. There's some more shrimp down in there. I'm trying to get them fry. It's really hard to see. I got a glare on my camera screen that I'm trying to see, so it's hard to film. And I didn't see any fry up until yesterday when I got home after it'd been really warm all week. But then now, looking down on here, I see a few, not a whole lot, of fry that they're definitely been born out here. So there had been some fry being born out here that I didn't see. But now I see, that's not clouds, but there's probably at least a couple dozen little baby panda fry I see out here. I don't think I'm really doing a good job catching it here on this. There's a little one I saw darting across the screen. Then the glare on the water makes it difficult as well. These things have been pretty good so far. The DIY filter's been holding together real good. The air pump's been flawless. I've had absolutely zero problems. This thing's been running smooth. Zero maintenance other than making sure too much water don't evaporate when the heaters are running. That's it. Let it overflow a little bit for water change. A couple times once a weekend, and there you have it. So hopefully this video caught you up on some stuff. Let's see how the ponds are doing. Everything's going good. And hopefully I can get back to making more of my regular style videos where I have time in a life. Thank you all for watching. Bye.